And again, it doesn't look like we have a tornadic circulation. I think we've got a rotating updraft here as we look at this storm. Again, there's not a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere today. There's a lot of moving parts to this area of circulation moving over Green Mountain. But again, just be seeking shelter out of abundance of caution here as this moves, looks like over Green Mountain towards Gurley. Your sirens are probably sounding and have been for probably the last 5 minutes. Continue to look around on some of our camera network, but just not seeing strong signs that we actually have a tornado here. We don't have any reports. So again, tornado, nothing's reported. No visual on a funnel. But again, this is circulation most likely inside of this thunderstorm that's keeping this thunder, and it's not even a thunderstorm. It doesn't have any lightning with it at all. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to switch over to some of our cameras. I'm going to show you that in just a second here. Let's go ahead and go to switch this over to Max 1, and then I'm going to switch it to our camera here on the Parkway. This is looking north. This is not the part of the storm that, again, we've got a lot of this low-level scud cloud going on, and as we kind of shift over here to where the circulation is, again, it's way down here to the south. This is all moving to the northeast, and according to Doppler radar, we're looking at this area down towards Big Cove, Hampton Cove area. This is going to be on the other side of the mountain. It makes it a little bit more difficult. And again, as we go back to the radar here, I'm going to switch that on the computer. There's just not a strong circulation signature here whatsoever. Again, what we're likely looking at is there's a big downburst with this area, very heavy rainfall. The atmosphere is just completely saturated here, and there's just no tight circulation. Again, there's not enough circulation based on this radar signature for a tornado, and this is just really unorganized. Again, I really want to stress that. I don't see a tornado here with this storm, but again, the Weather Service has issued this warning, so I would just stay in your hallway here. This is not going to be a big storm shelter kind of storm here towards Big Cove. There's a weak circulation area, but again, no strong circulation. And Liz, I know you live over that way. You getting any reports from over there?
Actually, Brad, my mic is not off.
Okay, well.
No, but I will tell you
But
momentarily.
the debris field's going to be, I imagine they may have had a little debris signature, but it looks a little contaminated. I'm going to go back and kind of look at this and see where this matches up. Again, tornado warning here for the east side of Huntsville over Big Cove. That's probably not. This is east of Grissom High School. I'm going to see what the reflectivity showed there.
Stand by from the backyard.
Yeah, again, what we were seeing earlier here would have been down here near Grissom High, Bailey Cove Road area, and just to the east of there, going towards Big Cove.
Neighbor just sent that from her backyard, so.
Oh, I don't even have my glasses on me. Yeah, again, there's going to be a lot of low clouds here. The velocity pattern kind of peaked here right over, this is going to be down here towards Mountain View Drive. And then as you climb up in elevation here on the, basically close between Montesano and Green Mountain. Mm-hmm. And we continue over here. I mean, there's just not much showing up in the velocity signature here. Let's see, looking closely. Again, if there was a tornado touchdown, we would most likely have information here already from spotter reports. And this just, it has this appearance on the back edge, but right now, there's just, again, there's not a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere today for a continuation of a mesocyclone. And the shear rate's not very strong. They'll take the shear rate back through time. Towards Big Cove, again, radar. And there's just no lightning at all with this storm. You're going to see a lot of low-lying clouds out here, no doubt about it, as this moves towards Gurley. and it's interacting with the mountainous areas. Go down here towards Big Cove. We're going to have the eastern bypass here. A lot of homes down here too. You've got Old Highway 431, and then you're going to be talking about Greystone Drive, Honors Row, Whistler Lane, Audubon Lane.
And it's a true Hampton Cove subdivision right there.
Yeah. So this is, again, moving over the Hampton Cove subdivision now. So we should get a lot of information as this moves in that direction, because it's on the other side of the mountain now. And we continue to see, according to Doppler radar, what we're looking at is mainly the updraft in this thunderstorm, just a little bit of circulation here on the southern edge of it.
What would prompt the National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning, though?
Well, I mean, we've had a lot of them lately. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Yeah, again, we're talking about lowering of clouds, but again, I mentioned during the 6 o'clock newscast, there's a lot of this lowering, a lot of very low clouds out here. I don't see any extreme wind velocity here. I mean, maybe gust-nado, something of that nature, almost like a landspout. And we have had those. Again, there's so much movement to the air going on, but again, we're close to the radar. I definitely don't think we have a strong tornado here, if there is one. Again, this would be a really small circulation. There's actually 2 circulations here. I do want to point that out. They're both about the same in this storm, and they both kind of look about the same. But again, the atmosphere really not set up to support tornado development today, and that's why we really haven't been talking about it. And the shear rate, so what we're looking, we're just going to basically go by shear rate. Now, this is east of Hampton Cove, approaching Gurley, just south of Little Cove Road, near Gray Road.
So that's where multiple bridges are, and it's very wet swampland. That is where the river is.
Yeah.
Right there on the east side of McMullen Cove, the north side of McMullen Cove.
Let me get back in here real quick. Open back up Slack. So again, this is right on the eastern bypass, approaching Little Cove Road, approaching Gurley. Okay, no reports of damage yet. Okay, again, we don't have any damage reports here. Again, this is very broad rotation as well. You've got this area going away from the radar, this area going towards the radar, and this is roughly 1.5 miles apart. Usually a lot tighter than that. So we've got 2 of the same actual circulations here that we're watching. One's north of Big Cove, and the other one is now east there, approaching Gurley. So again, if we're going to have reports, they're going to come in. We should be seeing a number of them, especially in this area. And for some
I'm just getting the neighbors who are sending
yeah.
all this. So if you want to see any of it.
Gotcha. Let me expand that view there real quick. All right. Okay, Weather Service now is saying as well, the circulation is broadening somewhat. It's been fairly broad the entire time, I will tell you that. Again, so what we're looking at is the green and the red very far apart. There's another area that's green and red here. So I don't see any continuation of it. And I think as far as the debris signature, I think that's contaminated. You see right here, because that kind of color, that would be a significant tornado, and I just don't think that's what's happening here. Especially with the storm relative velocity, it just does not show that tighter rotation. So
where are the 2 locations you're talking about? One over Hampton Cove proper, the other?
Yeah, it's now east of Hampton Cove, and it's pretty much right along McMullen Road as you go north and you make that turn, the curve. And then the other one, it's pretty much right along there in the eastern bypass. And then the other circulation, it's very similar, is Dug Hill Road between there and Ripley Lane.
Ripple Lane,
yeah. So again, you get Dug Hill Road, Ripple Lane. This is going to be, it's now east of Hampton Cove, east of Highway 431. So at that area, you're all clear from basically the Big Cove area to the west into Huntsville. But again, continues to be very broad here. We've got this.
Doug Hill, basically the bottom of Montesano.
Shear rate's still fairly weak, but indicating this area near Gray Road, moving towards Gurley. So again, I think you just get in your hallway, you should be fine. Again, National Weather Service office has not received any reports of damage with this, and it's been in a heavily populated area. Again, approaching Gray Road. As we take a look, again, the velocity. This is just it's just a big area of heavy rain, Liz, most likely. And the atmosphere is very tropical out there. And again, there's absolutely no lightning at all. And I think once it kind of took that shape of what we normally associate it with that tornadic threat, I think that's when the Weather Service decided to pull the trigger on it. But again, no reports of damage. I think the debris signature is going to be contaminated on this because based on what we saw there, it would be significant, and we'd be definitely getting 911 reports.
Absolutely. I know the sirens are still going out, and the tornado warning is in effect until 7:45.
Yeah, so about 9 more minutes on that warning. So what we're watching, again, this is going to be right along McMullen Road as you kind of make the curve and go east, kind of the shortcut to Gurley, so to speak, up Little Cove Road. A lot of trees here, so again, you're not going to get any reports. Now, as I turn the data off, we're not going to get a whole lot of reports out of here because it's forest, basically. So once it kind of clears that area, there's going to be a lot of visibility of this as well, just because there's just so many clouds out there right now. It's so low clouds. But zero lightning. I mean, so in this situation, there's no real lightning and thunder, so you're going to hear the wind if it does start to pick up in your area, and that would be a sign that the wind's blowing strong through those trees. But again, no strong circulation. So again, if anything, I think we've got like a landspout. And now Weather Service update. There are 2 areas of rotation that have broadened. The threat may have lessened a bit for the moment. Current plan is to let this expire and replace this with a severe thunderstorm warning for far eastern Madison into Jackson County.
So when it broadens, that lowers?
Well, it just means like an ice skater. When they tuck their arms in, they speed up.
It's concentrated.
When they spread their arms out, it expands the wind. So I think we're dealing with very broad rotation here. This isn't a classic textbook tornado. You normally wouldn't warn for something like this for a tornado based on the radar imagery. And we mentioned at 5 and 6, there's a lot of scud clouds out there. There's a lot of low-lying clouds.
Yeah, all afternoon you have been glued looking at those scud clouds going and watching every dip.
They look ominous, but this is not enough rotation to continue a tornado warning for this. But again, severe thunderstorm warning is going to come out to replace this as this moves off to the east-northeast. And there may be a little bit of hail, and that's the other thing I'm looking at. Again, this looks to be more of a rotating updraft in the storm. So all storms have to rotate, and as they rotate, that's where they maintain, and you can get some hail. But again, probably looking at some pea-size hail north of Little Cove Road, getting ready to move towards Highway 72 up towards Salty Bottom Road and Hayes Road. So that's what that purple is, and that's my highest confidence is we've got a rotating updraft, and they've been tracking this, and I've been looking at this as well, thinking that's a rotating updraft. So this storm's going to kind of cycle here with that rotating updraft. So we'll continue to monitor this as it moves towards Gurley. I'm going to go ahead and put a storm track on this just to give you guys a heads up down the road. As we take a look back here towards Gurley, moving up towards Pleasant Groves, it's moving at I'd say about 22 miles an hour. So Gurley 744, Pleasant Groves 809. And this is mostly a rotating updraft producing pea-size hail. Okay. Again, I'm looking at a picture here that someone shared from a drone. It says, as seen from a drone over Owens Crossroads, the report says little wind and zero rotation. Absolutely no rotation. So again, that is the area we would be most concerned with again, these clouds are very low. We've seen this happen before.
And
we've
they look
seen
scary.
They are
Especially
scary looking
at dusk.
clouds.
And
But-
we've been, we're trigger happy. We've seen
Yes,
tornadoes the
yes.
last week, and it's like if it looks like one and sounds like one with these wind gusts, is it one?
Right. Yeah, I don't think we've had a tornado. So we got a severe thunderstorm warning now for Madison and Jackson County. They're going to let this warning here go. Let's see, was that set to expire in 5 minutes? Let's see.
Yes.
Original warning. So we'll stay here for another 5 minutes until the warning actually expires.
I'm getting all sorts of video in. Our news director said the minute the tornado warnings hit at Big Cove Road, that the trees all went sideways. Big gust of wind came,
Okay, well, that would explain the
like a down gust you were talking
the
about.
downburst coming in.
Downburst.
So again, it's a cycling downburst, a cycling rotating updraft that's producing that potential for hail. And it just continues to kind of roll on. And I want to go back and just kind of show you the history of this as we go back. Let's take you back here. Let's go back to the last hour. You kind of see how this has evolved. So it's been rotating some back here. In fact, it was a little bit better organized when it was over Huntsville itself, and kind of moves off to the northeast. And then it interacts with the mountain, and then it'll probably reform a little bit more of that classic signature there. But again, something we'll keep watching. This just rolled through a very heavily populated area. It doesn't get much more populated than South Huntsville. Yeah, severe thunderstorm warning coming out.
And so that'll be until 8:30 tonight.
Yeah, 8:30.
National
on that
Weather
severe
Service
thunderstorm warning.
for the very same area.
Yeah, so most of this storm, it's rotating in the mid-levels of this storm, but again, it continues to show kind of a weak mesocyclone as it comes through as well. I gotcha. So let's put this back to 30 minutes. So again, moving towards Pleasant Groves. Let's see the time on that one. I'm going to put this back into motion. So I think, what's happened is it's gone over Montesano and Green Mountain. It's kind of interrupted the process it had going. So, and we're going to see this kind of fluctuate a little bit as it goes more east. So Pleasant Groves around 8:14. It's now 7:42. Gurley 7:46. So moving into Gurley right now, you're going to get a good view of this as it moves in. Take another look at the velocity. Again, the velocity is very, very wide, broad, we call that. So,
And you say velocity, is that the 60-mile-an-hour
that's the wind. And I think that was probably a downburst, because the other thing is it crosses over the mountain. It's going to increase the wind speeds may increase some. So you've got towards the radar here, away from the radar here, very subtle. And that is roughly the center, now 3 miles apart. It was about 1.5 miles apart. Now it's 3 miles apart. And we've completely lost that other circulation. And again, this isn't located in the right area. Let's see here. So you've got all this wind here, and it's completely separated from where you would want the circulation. You would want this circulation to be tight and right there.
If you wanted a tornado.
If you wanted a tornado, yeah.
Yes, but we don't want that.
No,
so.
we don't. So again, that's
So that's a positive right now.
yeah, that's the challenge. So all of this. So here's basically what it looks like. It looks like to me the wind's coming out of this storm like this, and now you have the circulations probably over here, which would make more sense because you've got the green little pixel there, right there, and then you got the red over here. It's a very faint red. So as far as if I were to pixel the wind, there's not much wind there at all. So let me do that pixel query. 28 miles an hour and 8 miles an hour. So again, it's not a real tight, what we would call a couplet. It's not really even a couplet at all.
And that's good because if they had a couplet, then they could converge.
Yeah,
right, together.
basically
And
when you
then-
get a couplet, it means you've got gate to gate. Each one of these little pixels is called a gate. And when they're together, that's when you have the tightest rotation.
Then
So
that's trouble.
That's real trouble. And we just don't have that going on.
So the severe thunderstorm warning is for northwestern Jackson County and northeast central Madison County until 8:30. And the National Weather Service says 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
The reason they say that is because it's a boilerplate warning.
Okay.
And severe thunderstorm warnings usually come out and they'll say wind gusts to 60 miles an hour and the possibility of large hail, because that's what the criteria is. It's 58-mile-per-hour wind, but this does not have 60-mile-an-hour winds with it. So again, it's all in the language, but that tornado warning set to expire. It's gone now. So we're going to get you back to your regular scheduled programming. Again, I will tell you this storm is going to look a lot like this as it continues to track to the east. We'll continue to monitor it. Right now, I see a threat for winds around 40 miles an hour, maybe some pea-sized hail with this, but don't be surprised if we get another tornado warning from this. So we'll continue to monitor it. And now back to your regularly scheduled program.